Hello everyone, I hope you guys are all having a fabulous Monday. Today I'm coming at you with a weekly Minks Monday Q&A. Before we get started, let me share the bag that I'm currently rocking, and that is my Longchamp Le Pliage, large size in the khaki color. Alright, so grab your coffee, grab your tea, let's start your work, let's go to work, let's do your laundry, whatever it is that you do, come join me. We have some awesome topics to cover today. Starting with the first question from Oat Dad. I have seen many Chanel reissues with gold hardware that is worn off, or very nearly so. I'd prefer a black/gold reissue, just like yours, to be honest, but worry about the wear of the gold finish. Any idea if this is all Chanel Classic/reissue gold hardware or only some? Thoughts or concerns about the plating wear? This is an awesome question, especially because this exact thing came up so much when I was doing research on the bag. And so we have a little bit more eye candy. Here's the Chanel reissue 226 with a black and gold combo. I absolutely love this bag, and this was the specific combo that I was looking for, but I just kept reading so many different threads. I mean, thread after thread, and I saw so many review videos about people that were so excited to get this exact combo, and then within a short amount of time, they'd end up having plating wear, they'd end up having chipping, or you'd be able to notice the scratches a lot more, especially on the lock part, because the lock part can be somewhat fussy. I don't think it's as, it's a little bit fussier than the classic flaps, so you'd end up having like the bright yellow gold on the, you know, on the outside, and then in here, you'd see that silver kind of coming through. So it was totally a bummer, and I completely understand where they're coming from, especially because of the price points that the reissues have, or even the classic flaps in general. Personally, I haven't had any issues with the gold hardware on my classic or on my jumbo, or even any of my small leather goods. Everything has worn very nicely, but you do hear about people that have issues with the gold hardware, whether it's a classic flap or whether it's the reissue, that you end up seeing that plating wear, or you end up seeing those scratches a little bit more often. And another thing that I noticed is that people that had originally gone for the black and gold, they liked it and they love the bag because it's so lightweight, you're able to fit a little bit more. They end up selling the black and gold to get the black with ruthenium, because the ruthenium ends up hiding the scratches a lot more. And I really like that combo as well, but I knew for me, I wanted to go for this combo. And the crazy thing is that even though I knew that that was a known issue, that's like the #1 thing that people weren't, you know, too crazy about this bag, I still went for it. And I know it's a possibility that might end up happening in the future. And as of right now, I'm still really stoked. I'm still really happy that I went for this combo, and only time will tell. I don't foresee myself ever getting rid of this bag, even if it does have that type of wear, because what I really like about it is that it already has that aged look to it. So if the hardware starts to chip, or if it starts to show a little bit more plating wear, I think it might end up adding to the overall age look of the bag. At least I see it that way, just because you have that vintage look, you have that age look, and if you have that hardware that kind of mimics that, I think that's what I would be okay with. I was so nervous, you know, especially when after every thread, I was just like, oh my God, should I go for it? Should I go for it? Maybe I should wait. But I still went for it. And even though I like the ruthenium with the black leather, I am just crazy about the black and gold. I just really like the way that it ends up standing out. So I know it's a possibility that it might end up happening, but I'm hoping for the best, and only time will tell. So as of right now, I'm not too concerned about it. But I would love to hear your guys' thoughts on this topic, especially if you do have the reissue with the gold hardware, or if you have classic flaps in the gold hardware that have chipped, or if you've had any type of plating wear or anything like that. Let us know in the comment section down below. I just think it's always helpful to share, whether it's good, bad, or the ugly. It doesn't matter, you know. That way people have a little bit more of an idea as to what they're kind of getting into when it comes to any of these handbags, like with these price points. Next question from Nell R. I recently purchased the clay in monogram. It's the key clay that retails for $205 here in the US. When I got my package, my clay doesn't say made in. The date code reads SD2168. The only other stamp in there says Louis Vuitton Paris, no made in anywhere. I thought it was weird how it doesn't say where it's made. I called the Louis Vuitton customer service line to ask if I got a faulty one, and she said no. None of my items have the made in stamp anymore. Is that strange? Does anyone else have this problem? This is an awesome question, because I do get asked this quite a bit, especially on Instagram. And this is the clay, just so we have a little bit more eye candy. All right, so when it comes to made in, From what I was told a while back, anything made in the United States, and the reason I know it's the United States is because SD stands for San Dimas, which is the warehouse that they have here in California. And anytime anything is made here, they don't have the made in stamp in there. It'll just say Louis Vuitton Paris. And it kind of, it was a transition that happened probably about a year ago. They started to do that, and I've noticed that a lot of the items at the boutiques that do have an SD date code or anything like that don't say the made in. And a lot of the items that are made in Europe, especially Spain or Italy or France, those still have the made in wherever. And I've checked out a few collections, especially with the items that I chose last month. All of them had something on there like made in this, made in that. But if it was specifically from the United States, it no longer has that. At one point in time, I don't know if it's necessarily the case anymore, but anything made in the United States used to have a tag inside of their handbags that would say of imported materials, and it had that SD code or whatever other code they have for the US. But yeah, that's the direction that I remember them saying that they wanted to move towards, just because it gets so many people asking specifically for made in France, made in France. And back in the day, they had a lot of sales associates that had a lot of names on their list that people were looking for an item only if it was made in France. So I don't know if that's maybe their way of maybe just kind of trying to get away from that. So that way it's not necessarily a negative that an item is not made in France. I've said it before, I am a made in France snob, but I also have a lot of items in my collection that are made in the US, made in Spain, and they wear perfectly. I've never had any issues. And it doesn't mean that I love it less because it's made in the US or Spain. I love them all the same. But to me, I just really like seeing that made in France, just because it is a French fashion house. It kind of gives it a little bit extra to the piece. At least I feel that way. But will I end up turning something away that's made in the US? Absolutely not, especially if it's something that I really want. So yeah, I don't know if they're changing, you know, how it's going to be moving forward. I don't know if that's going to be globally that they end up getting rid of the made in. Hopefully not, because as I said before, I think it really adds to any piece regardless of the country that it's made in. But yeah, that's what I was told. So it was definitely not a faulty one, but hopefully this was able to help. Next question from Betsy Aravi. Hopefully I said that correctly. Minnie. I am not one to run out and buy the new release handbags, especially from Louis Vuitton. There are so many. I like to wait and do a little bit more research to make sure they will fit my lifestyle. However, the new Blanche BB that was just released last month is calling me. What are your thoughts on this little bag? Have you seen it in person? Is it too much like the Pochette Métis? I don't own any all leather bags from Louis Vuitton. Do you think it will hold up and keep its structure over time? Oh, right. So the Blanche BB, it is actually available in two different sizes, the BB and I believe the other one is the MM size, and I will insert a picture of it right now. This bag is gorgeous. It's available in 3 different colors, and in my opinion, it has a phenomenal price point for an all leather Louis Vuitton bag. Usually with any en-prompt bags, they end up starting at $2,200, $2,500 and up, but this one starts at $1,920 here in the States. I think it is very versatile. I think it is absolutely beautiful. I do think that it will wear nicely over time, and I do think that it'll keep its structure just because it is very similar to the Pochette Métis. It's almost like they add an extra wall inside of the compartment so that way they don't necessarily sag too much. So I don't think it'll turn into a beautiful mess or anything like that. It might have a little bit of sagging on the sides, not too bad, and I think that'll happen over a long period of time. But I think it is beautiful. I love the chain detail that it has. It also has that extra strip of leather, so it makes it a lot more comfortable. And I think it is beautiful. It is very similar to the Pochette Métis, but it is a dressed up version of the Pochette Métis, especially if you want something that's all leather. But it's very soft. It is absolutely gorgeous. So I don't know if that's necessarily helping or not, but I was blown away by the price point because I thought for sure it would end up being like $2,300 or $2,400, and when she said $1,920, even though that's still a lot of money, it's an all leather bag. You know, there's canvas bags that are $2,000 or $2,300, and the fact that this is an all leather bag with that beautiful interior, I think is absolutely awesome. And it's also not too small, because even though it is a BB, it's not going to be, I mean, it's not huge. I believe it's 8.9 inches or almost 9 inches long, if I'm not mistaken. So it still has a really good size. And again, the fact that it has a little bit of a longer strap that you can use on your shoulder, or you can even try to use it crossbody, I think would be pretty awesome. So I don't know if it helps, but I am a fan. Next question from Patricia Fridas. Hopefully I said that correctly. So I have about 15 bags in my collection, and I have a rule. If I want a new bag, I have to sell one. I decided to sell my Palm Springs in the PM size because I have the Louis Vuitton Multicolored GM, and this one fits my lifestyle better. My question to you is, which bag would you get? The Louis Vuitton Matisse in reverse monogram or the Celine Nano? I'm interested in your opinion as you have both in your collection. Oh man, that is a tough question. So we have a little bit more eye candy. Here is the Celine Nano, and I know it's not the reverse, but like I said, so we have a little bit more eye candy, the Pochette Matisse, and the monogram canvas. All right, so many of you know how crazy I am about both of these bags. The Nano is a little bit newer to my collection, but I've been using it to death. The Pochette Matisse I've had for almost 3 years now, if I'm not mistaken, and I rave about it every chance I get. So I love the Celine because it's small, but it still packs a punch. It's very, very comfortable, and I'm a huge fan of their leather. When it comes to the Pochette Matisse, I love the fact that it has compartments. It makes it a little bit easier for me to see everything at a glance, and everything's very organized. And it also comes with a removable, adjustable strap. So between the two, even though I'm crazy about this little guy, I'm gonna have to say the Pochette Matisse. And even more so the reverse, because it does have the color treated leather, so it makes it even more carefree. But in general, when it comes to the Pochette Matisse, the one thing that to me just stands out, the one thing that is such a game changer, is the fact that it comes with that removable adjustable strap. I mean, you can set it to however you want. If you want to use it crossbody, if you want to put it on your shoulder, if you want to hand carry it, if you want to put it on the crook of your arm, whatever it is, you have so many different options when it comes to that bag. Even though, like I said, the Celine is, the Nano is fantastic, it's amazing, and I use it quite often, this one just offers a lot more, in my opinion, you know. And like I said, the fact that you have that color treated leather is definitely an extra detail that really adds to the bag. So both of these are great. I think both of them are fantastic additions to any collection. But between the two, I'm gonna have to say this guy for sure, just because of what I said. That strap is an absolute game changer. So good luck, and hopefully this was able to help. Next question from Sylvia Diaz. What do you think of Tiffany & Co.'s sunglasses and their leather goods? What do you think of the quality, price points, designs, etc.? I know you love their silver jewelry, as do I. I'm looking at their cat eye sunglasses in tortoise with the crystals on the hinges and their leather bifold card case. I absolutely love Tiffany & Co. Whether it's the jewelry that they have, the stemware, leather goods, whatever it is, I'm a huge, huge fan. They have great price points, and they also have amazing quality. When it comes to their sunglasses, I have had 2 in my collection at one point in time. Currently, I do have a pair of aviators. I've never had an issue with them. I think I've had them for like 8 or 9 years. I don't really use them anymore just because I end up wearing the Key Australia sunglasses a little bit more. But like I said, I've never had an issue. The only thing when it comes to rhinestones, I don't know if Tiffany & Co. sunglasses are prone to having the stones fall out, kind of like Chanel earrings. So that's just something to keep in the back of your mind. I really don't think so, but you never know. So if any of you guys have Tiffany & Co. sunglasses that have any type of crystals, let us know in the comment section down below how you find them, you know, to wear. But as far as their leather goods, like I said, I'm a big fan because the one thing that I am crazy about that they do when it comes to their designs is that they keep them so incredibly simple. They don't have a bunch of bells and whistles, they don't have a bunch of zippers or anything like that. And for the most part, they try to incorporate their signature Tiffany blue onto almost everything that they have. I think that is awesome, you know, and like I said, they have great, great price points. I know last year when I went in there, I was kind of taking a look at some of their smaller wallets for men because my brother's birthday, and I really liked the quality. It seemed like it was very, very durable as well. So yeah, I'm a big, big fan. There is one tote that they have. I can't remember which one it is, but it's kind of like a reversible tote, and it has like the Tiffany blue on the outside, and it has like the silver on the interior, and then you can kind of swap it out. That's the only one. I really like that bag. but I kind of tend to stay away from it just because it does have that metallic kind of sheen to it, and the leather is really, really soft. So I'm wondering if that will end up wearing a little too much over time, you know, like you'll end up seeing the scratches a little bit more often, or I don't know. But they also have like this beautiful train case. Oh, it is just gorgeous. So yes, huge, huge fan. I actually have 2 small leather goods from Tiffany & Co. I don't really use them, but you know what? After this video, you kind of hit a light bulb in my head, and I think I will definitely end up incorporating them into my rotation. But fantastic question, and hopefully I was able to help. Next question from Ms. Malcolm Hughes. Do you think Louis Vuitton will ever reintroduce the multicolor line? Maybe a special anniversary limited edition. How fantastic would that be? I mean, even though I'm not the craziest over like limited editions or special collections or anything like that, this is one collection that I would be lined up for. You know what I mean? I would be all about it. But do I think that they'll reintroduce the multicolor line? I don't really foresee that happening. I know some people have said that they're able to find them when they're traveling. They've been able to find some multicolor pieces in Europe. But as far as them completely just relaunching or kind of having an ode to multicolor from what it was back when, I don't really foresee that happening. But I know that there's a new collection. I don't know if it's out yet or not, but I think it's called, is it the Wave? No, it's not the Wave. I think it's the Wave collection or the Multicolor Wave collection from Louis Vuitton. I can't remember. But to me, it looks like Saint Laurent and Gucci had a baby and they added multicolor, you know, multicolor into the mix. I don't know. Some pieces are really kind of cool, and others are a little out there. But I think that's about as close as they'll get to having multicolor back into the fashion house. I'm not sure. But absolutely. I mean, Marc Jacobs, I don't know about you guys, but for me, Marc Jacobs was one of the most talented creative designers that the fashion house has had. So many different collections that he created that I was just absolutely in awe, you know, and even if they weren't necessarily for me, I always appreciated them. So, I mean, just can you imagine if he came back to the fashion house? Anyways, I'm getting off of the subject, but as far as them reintroducing multicolor, I don't really see it, but check out that new collection. I think it's called Multicolor Wave or Multicolor something. I can't remember. If I can find a picture of it or if I can find a link to it, I will put it on the description box below. But fantastic question. Hopefully I was able to answer it. Next question from Ruby Kalunga. Hopefully I said that correctly. I'm having trouble deciding on whether to purchase a pre-loved Chanel GST or a new YSL large Loulou Tote. I've been eyeing Fashion File and eBay for the GST, and the prices are similar to the YSL Tote. Which would you recommend? Alright, so tough choice, but here I have my Chanel GST in the black caviar leather and the gold hardware, so we have a little bit more eye candy. And I will insert a picture of the YSL Loulou Tote right now. Alright, so both of these bags are beautiful, and both of these bags I think would be a great addition to any collection. When it comes to the GST, as many of you know, this is one of my forever bags. I absolutely love it. I love the silhouette that it has, and also that it's really maintained its shape over time. And I personally find it to be very comfortable. However, not a lot of people would agree with me. They feel that the strap drop is a little too short, and I can definitely see their point of view because it's not the most generous. But when it comes to the YSL, that one definitely has a very generous strap drop. So that way if you are wearing a thicker coat or if you are wearing a jacket, you don't have to worry that the bag will be too uncomfortable. It also has that little flap to kind of combine both compartments or both sides of the bag that gives you a little bit more security, which I really like. It also has a few more compartments than the GST does, and it also has feet, which is a major, major plus. That's one thing that I talked about with this bag. I think it is beautiful, but if it had feet, it would definitely be somewhat of a game changer. You know, as much as I love the GST, and like I said, it is one of my forever pieces, I have to be honest in saying that the YSL Tote does offer quite a bit for the price point that it has, and also it has very durable leather. From most of the research that I've done on the YSL Loulou bag or their lineup in general, a lot of people love their leather. They say that it's very durable, it's very soft. Some might lose their shape over time. It just depends on the structure of the bag. I don't necessarily see it losing its structure too bad with the YSL Tote, but please don't quote me on it. But like I said, at the end of the day, even though I love the GST, the YSL Tote definitely offers a lot a lot for the price point and just the overall beauty that this bag has and the function that it offers. So I'm not trying to hurt the GST's feelings by any means whatsoever, but I gotta be honest. I gotta call it like I see it. You know what I mean? So the YSL just might have a little bit more of a might have a little bit more added features to the bag, but hopefully that was able to help. And the last question from Travis Tuttle, hopefully I said that correctly. Okay, low-key, love the fact that you cuss this week. I feel like it's a raw side of you I've never seen. Do you cuss all the time? Why don't you show that side of you? All right, so that was definitely not my proudest moment last week when I blurted out a not so nice word. And I know that this has come up before, but when it comes to swearing, I really try my hardest to refrain from using profanity on my channel. I have the utmost respect for you guys, and I also know a lot of you end up watching with your children, so I try my hardest to make sure that everything, you know, is G or PG on my channel. I will admit there are times that the topic that we're discussing, sometimes I'll give you a whole spiel on it, and sometimes those words end up coming out. So like I said, I try my hardest to not do that. But do I cuss all the time? I do. I actually swear like a sailor, and especially when I'm driving. I told you guys before, I have the worst road rage, and I have no patience whatsoever. None of you want to drive with me, trust me when I say that, because I'm just like determined to get to my destination, and I'm just I'm not the nicest when it comes to other drivers or anything like that. But yes, I do swear all the time, and you know, I just I end up using some of the words not necessarily to shock someone, but I end up using them as nouns, adjectives, and verbs type of thing. You know, sometimes that's just the way that it is. But some of you watch at like 4 o'clock in the morning. No one wants to hear that type of language at 4 o'clock in the morning. You know, it's like, hey, good morning, blah. This is what I'm going to say. At least I think so. But like I said, I'm very, very respectful of you guys, and that's one thing I absolutely try my hardest not to do. You know, I don't think anyone wants to hear that type of language. I think that there's a time and a place for it, but I don't know. Sometimes they end up coming out, and I've noticed that lately they end up coming out a lot more often. So I don't know why that is, you know. So my sincere apologies if I ended up offending any of you guys, but what can I say? What can I say? You know, but I don't know if you're okay with sometimes that colorful language coming out, let me know. But hopefully that was able to answer your question. All right, you guys, so that does it for Minks Monday Q&A. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope I was able to help. You guys had some amazing questions this week. For this week's lineup, you will see me one other time. And again, thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed it, make sure and give it a thumbs up. If you haven't already and you would like to, please subscribe to my YouTube channel by clicking on the red button down below and hitting that bell so you're notified when I upload videos, which is anywhere from 2 to 3 times a week. And I will see you guys later. And as always, make it a fabulous day or not, the choice is yours. Have a great day.